Hello, I'm Malika and I've been a foot model since 2018. In my last video, I went over what you can do when sales are slow. And one of the things that I mentioned was creating more engaging posts. So in this video, I wanted to show you how you can create engagement by engaging all 5 senses in just a photo. Most people think that photos are just about sight, but it is so much more than that when you're dealing with something like feet. The foot experience is all about all the senses. You want to be able to see them, of course, but you can imagine the smell. So I'm going to teach you how to elicit that smell response, the touch response, the sounds. Now that's a little bit tricky with just a photo, but it can be done. You can elicit the response of them remembering the sound of something through a photo. You can also engage the touch sensation just through a photo. So the first sense that we're going to go over, of course, is sight. I have a video on how to pose your feet, just the basic foot poses that fans like to see. And of course, that is very important. Make sure you're giving fans all the different poses that I mentioned in that video. When it comes to foot poses, these fans are imagining very specific things about your feet. For instance, the toe spread. They are imagining how they can get their tongues in between. So with the sight, you are showing what your feet are capable of. This is especially notable when you're doing the 4th hole pose, because as you can imagine, they are seeing what you can do with your feet, literally. The next sense we're going to talk about is smell. Now, how do you portray smell through a photo? As you can see, I am wearing socks. One of the ways that you can portray smell through a photo is by using footwear. When you wear socks, you are normally wearing tennis shoes, right? So what happens when you wear tennis shoes? They get stinky. And that's what fans want to know. They want to experience that sort of thing. So what you can do is you can take your shoes off and you can smell the shoe. That is portraying a scent. Not only a scent, but that you enjoy that scent, right? You can even take that shoe off and put it towards the camera and show off the insoles of your shoes to elicit a smell response. Another thing you can do is to take off that sock. You can do it slowly by doing a little sock reveal. Your feet might be sweaty, so they can imagine the smell coming off the foot when they're sweaty. You can smell your own sock. It can be a stinky smell. You're adding these senses to the photo just by, oh my God, it stinks. You're eliciting that response. Or you can give the sock to the camera. Do you want to smell it? That's how you're engaging with those fans. Here, have a smell of this stinky sock or this delicious sock, right? That's how you engage the sense of smell. You can also do a POV style smelling where you're getting your feet very, very close to the camera, as if you are putting your feet directly in their face for them to smell. Now this brings us to the next sense, which is taste. You can do the exact same thing with smell that you can do with taste, with the toes very close to camera. Your caption can be something like, "Look between the toes," something along those lines. But there are other options for taste, including self-worship. I am not flexible, so I cannot demonstrate a self-worship, but a lot of you are. So get your feet nice and close to your face and lick your own feet. This will elicit a response of taste, making them imagine what they would taste like for you doing it to yourself. And you can also do this another way with POV style, where you are going all the way POV style, putting your feet directly in their mouth. The camera is their eyes. So I put my foot underneath the camera as if it's actually in the mouth. And that can elicit that taste response. They can imagine what your foot would actually feel like as well as taste. You're engaging the sight, you're engaging the smell even, you're engaging the taste and the feel, all with just this one POV style photo. You can also do it where your toes are going more straight towards camera so they can actually see your feet. That is one way that I like to do it as well, but I feel like it's more realistic if it's going down towards the camera like that, especially in a video format. But in a photo, you can decide. Maybe sometimes you post it like this. Sometimes you post it like this. Just Change it up sometimes and create a different response from your fans. Another way to elicit the taste response is by using food. Food crushing is a very popular category, and it's actually fun if you don't mind the mess. But you can do this by simply squishing food with your feet. Sometimes they like to imagine what that food would taste like on your feet. So eating it off of your feet. You can use the captions to make them think whatever you want them to think. Maybe they're responsible for cleaning it off your feet, or maybe you're just showing how powerful your feet are by being able to crush this cupcake in one fell swoop. The next way that you can engage the taste sense is again by talking about the sweaty feet. So we all know what sweat tastes like. It's a little salty. So if your soles look like that glistening sweat and you're talking perhaps in the caption about sweat, they can imagine the taste of the foot as well as the sight of the sweaty foot. Another way that engages the taste, surprisingly enough, is dirty feet. So not only is this visually stimulating for some fans, it's also engaging the sense of taste and smell. When your feet are dirty, they can imagine that gritty feeling inside their mouth, maybe that earthy dirt feeling inside their mouth. So make sure you're giving fans a variety of content. Personally, I do not like my feet to be dirty, but I have to make this content because there are a lot of dirty feet fans out there. They just like to imagine you walking barefoot, walking and connecting with the earth, and then your feet are dirty. Now, the next sense is the sense of touch. This one is a little bit difficult to portray in just a photo, but when your soles look soft because you have gotten a pedicure, you make sure that your heels are nice and soft and taken care of. I tend to get dry heels, so what I do is right before I take photos or videos, I add lotion to my heels, or sometimes I use vitamin C oil on my heels just to give the look of a soft sole. You can also do it by doing what I'm doing right now. You are touching your feet, maybe pushing your soles together so that you can see the softness of the wrinkles, you can see the skin moving underneath, because the softness isn't just about the skin, it's about the connective tissue underneath. Is it hard? Is it soft? Do you have calluses? It's all about the entire foot and what it can provide. There's a lot of ways that you can engage the sense of touch. You can even do that by touching with your other foot. Maybe you're feeling the softness with your foot. You're also engaging what it would feel like if they were between your feet. So they are feeling not only your arch with this pose, but they're feeling your toes with this pose. And they can imagine that all on their own. You can also do a POV style touch response by having your feet right on the camera. They are imagining that your feet are directly in their face and they're feeling your feet. They are feeling the warmth of your feet, the softness, the touch, everything with just POV style photos. Now, the last sense is the trickiest to portray in just a photo. So I do recommend doing more of a GIF or even a short video for the sense of sound. Now, again, with certain poses, these fans can imagine and elicit their own responses based just solely on what you're doing. So this one, they can imagine how it would feel to be right in here, right? They can imagine the feel of your sole. They can imagine the feel of your toes. But if you're doing this, they might also think about the sound of your feet rubbing together. They can imagine with a thumbs up pose what it would sound like when you're flicking your toes. A toe flick is an often overlooked sound that fans really enjoy hearing. So if you're giving them this toe flick sound, it's almost like a little ASMR, and there are a lot of fans who enjoy that. Another ASMR sound is just simply rubbing your feet together or rubbing your hand on your feet. Another popular one that is often overlooked is a little slap. They like to hear the softness of your sole in that slap, or they like to imagine that they're the ones slapping against your sole, if you know what I mean. You can do the sole slapping sound with a ruler in a picture. You don't even have to actually hit your soles, but if you just have the ruler placed against your sole, they can imagine the sound that it would make hitting your sole. Or again, with a thumbs up, they can imagine the sound that a toe flick would create. But of course, the best way to elicit sound is to use short videos. I don't recommend putting super long videos for free on social media, but you can do little sound bites just a little like this, or just a little rub. It can only be a couple seconds. That's really all they need to engage those senses and to elicit the responses that you want them to have in order to want to buy content from you, because they desperately want to see more, right? It's not enough to just see a photo. It's not enough just to see a short video. The money is in the videos. And when you can sell a video to a fan, that is where you're making money in this business. Yes, photos do sell, but they do not sell frequently, and you make a lot more money selling videos. So when you can engage all 5 senses in just one picture, or maybe as many senses as you can in a picture, you are going to make fans want to see more, want to purchase more, and that is exactly what the whole point is of us doing this, right? So to wrap up, the sense of sight is all about seeing what your feet are capable of. Do you have wrinkly soles? Do you have a wide toe spread? Do you have a nice toe grip? The sense of smell is all about, do you have stinky feet? Do you have clean feet? And that can be portrayed by using shoes or socks, or even POV style photos. What taste is your foot giving off, which can be done through POV or by using food or dirt. How soft is your feet to touch, by making sure that your feet are soft to touch with oils or lotions or a nice pedicure, and rubbing them together, making it look like it feels good to touch your feet, or placing your feet all the way onto the camera as if they are actually touching your feet. And of course, sound. Doing poses that elicit the sound response, making them think of what it sounds like to do certain things or to hear certain things. You can even, which I forgot to mention, grab your big toe, which is hard to do in socks, but this is a sound that's very specific when your feet are oiled up. It's a squishy sound, and they can imagine that when you do this toe grip. This also is the sense of touch. What does it feel like when your toes are gripping them? This is a sight because you can show what your feet are capable of. There are so many poses that you can do that can elicit multiple senses, and you should be doing this as much as possible. I hope you got something good out of this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up, and please consider subscribing to my channel because I will have a lot more content coming up for you guys.